All right, we're going to do a little live kind of demo with the brand new GENZLER 4OnTheFloor classic bass overdrive pedal. I chose to play my stock 1978 Fender bass, Fender Precision bass. This is a very excellent instrument. Everything's completely bone stock, and it's the kind of sound that is probably the most common as a kind of a home bass fundamental bass guitar tone, Fender Precision. So we're using this instrument. It's strung up with round wound strings, 45 to 105 Golly synthesis round wound strings. I'm playing through the GENZLER Magellan 800 head and the new classic 210 cabinet. This one's here, but it's not hooked up. That's the 112. So let's just dig into this pedal here. The best way for me, I'll go through the controls. You have a drive sensitivity, low or high. I have it set on high right now. Then you have the drive volume, the amount of drive, then the drive volume and the clean volume. Now, this pedal enables you to maintain your clean signal and then blend the amount of drive that you want with the clean signal. So that is an incredibly useful factor for me, because if any pedal that I have to commit to just overdrive isn't going to work for me. I need to maintain the core of my tone, which is the clean side, and then feather in some drive. That's how I can use it. That's how it will find its way into use commonly. Is that when I'm incorporating that little bit of additional drive, it's supplementing the already established clean sound. And then on the other end of the pedal over here, you have 4 different drive select, which they call first, second, and third, and fourth gear. And then you have the high pass and low pass filters. High pass is low cut, and low pass is high cut. It can be confusing. It's easier to just think of it as a high pass filter is a low cut, and a low pass filter is a high cut. So there's the basic P-bass sound. Now we'll turn it on. Off. I'm going to put a little more drive. Let's try it second gear. Okay, so as you go up in gears, it's getting more, the amount of overdrive is increasing. Third gear. compressed there. So I'm going to compensate for that that compression gain. It feels like a little bit of gain reduction by turning up the drive volume. Turn up the drive volume a little bit more and the drive a little bit more when in fourth gear, because I'm trying to compensate for that that compression. I'm liking it. Yeah, and that gives me the sustain that I'm after. Okay, so right there, what I just noticed that's killer is that as the overdriven portion of the signal path fades away, the clean sound is already there. So what you have is you have a decay of the dirty tone kind of falling off, but the fullness of the clean sound remains. So that dirt is falling off, rolling off slowly, fading off, and then you got that full clean sound. So yeah, I really love the fourth gear. Going back to the first gear sound, I'm going to put these back where I had them. I just turned the drive volume down a little bit and boost up the clean volume a little bit, and I turned the drive down a little bit. Nice because it's oh, it's even cool for slapping. So I'm in first gear. And I have the drive at 1 o'clock. I have the drive volume at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Clean volume straight up. Cool aggressive slap tone that would yeah, you have to remember that once it's in the context of a full band situation, there's lots of other stuff going on. A subtle amount of overdrive just becomes character. It doesn't sound like an effect. It just becomes things that make what you do heard more. Essentially it's just hyping up some harmonic enhancement and giving some character to it. Give you a point of reference. We'll go back to the beginning with it completely bypassed. Turn it back on. Having fun now. I don't know if I'm being useful in terms of doing a demo anymore. But yeah, I mean, this thing's killer. And typically for me, for my kind of use, I would turn it on and leave it on. And I would just dial in just a little bit of that drive to where it's feathered in. And I think it adds that character that's nice. And the last thing I'll say is that it's analog, and what I like about analog, straight analog pedals, is they're my favorite, you know, I think that they're most people's favorite, is that it retains this great dynamic range. Sometimes I play real hard, sometimes I play real soft. So if I'm playing it at just a moderate, you don't even hardly hear it, right? So when I dig in hard, it gets more overdrive, but it, you know, the kind of overdrive that it brings in there is nice. So it adds to the intensity. When you go to a higher dynamic, it's getting more intense within the music. So the tone is getting more intense as you dig in harder, and then it's cleaning up nicely as you get soft. That's why it will be useful for me, is because I'm not just completely committed to some sort of like aggressive distortion box kind of thing. That wouldn't have nearly as much use for me as a pedal that enables me to play normal at a normal dynamic and have it hardly even be noticed. But when I go to dig in, and when I go to get intense, and when I want to have a little bit of hairy intensity to where I'm going, it's there. So, you know, I would just say that I like this first gear, and I've got, you know, I've got just a kind of a little bit of drive feathered in there, and I would just turn it on and leave it on. If I needed to do something real aggressive, I'd probably jump right all the way up to third or fourth gear, and then I would compensate with the drive volume and the drive, and I could get like a real kind of sort of Geezer Butler, you know, SVT on 10 kind of thing. That wouldn't be as common, but that is very cool. That wouldn't be as common for me, but that is very cool. So there you have it. There's my demo of the GENZLER 4-on-the-Floor pedal. And yeah, this will go into my live rig, and I will start using it. I like it. I like that it's, I like the size. I just set them on top of my amp. I don't use a pedal board. And, you know, I have my DI, my Nordstrand preamp DI pedal that goes to front of house. So I'll put this first and then go to that. And then, you know, because I send my DI signal post EQ, so it'll be getting this before my DI signal path. You got to be careful with making it so that you want your bypass volume and your activated volume to only jump up a little bit, because you can really screw things up at front of house if you start loading down your signal path and sending a whole bunch of, you know, if you're increasing your signal path volume, you're getting diminishing returns, because the first thing the front of house engineer has to do is start cutting things. And ideally, what I do is I send all my stuff post EQ. Everything I send to him, he's getting what I'm throwing down, and I try and keep my my level that he's getting very manageable, loud enough that it's hitting the desk appropriately, but I'm not you know, piling up a whole bunch of signal path so that by the time it gets to him, he has to pad it and start cutting everything. That sucks. That's definitely not what works. I work closely with the front of house engineers to make it so that my front of house sound is totally killing, totally crushing, because in the real world, what's coming out of my amp is basically just there for me and the rest of the band, you know, and the people in the immediate vicinity. But the majority of the audience is getting what's coming out of the PA, so you want to be very careful with your signal path. But, you know, everybody figures that out on their own, and hopefully you can work it out with your front of house engineer, and you guys will work together to make it so that it's the most beneficial gain, that the signal path volume is the most beneficial as it gets to the PA. So there you have it. Kudos, congratulations to Jeff Genzler, and I think that this is going to be a real successful pedal. I know there's a lot of other demos out too with people that are using it in a slightly different context than I can show it, more in a more kind of modern, heavy music context. I see it as kind of turning your lightweight, easy to move around gear into sounding like a gigantic tube amp cranked, you know, by just bringing this instead of bringing a 400 watt tube head in an 810 cabinet. It just ties in with the times of simplicity. It gets you there. It gets you there close enough. More than close enough. It gets there in a nice way that gets the vibe, and it sounds big and hairy, and nice. Doesn't sound thin and wimpy and digital and chintzy. It's not that, and that's what's cool about it. Is it makes the lightweight world we live in have more weight and have more balls, and that's a really, really cool thing. So I encourage you to get one. All right, friends, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the videos. We'll see you next time. Peace.